Hi there, I'm Wade, and we're here in the Crane Garage today, and we are working on a 900 XP Ranger that when you step down on the gas and accelerate, it just takes off and revs up on its own and scares the crap out of you. And if you had a fence right there, you'd go through it. But anyway, if this is happening to you, we're going to go through what it possibly could be. So what we got here is a Ranger that's hard starting, and when it does finally start, it'll idle fine. But when you go to step down on the gas, what it'll do is it'll rev way up high on its own, and you let off the gas, and it still continues to rev, and then it'll come back down and possibly popping and backfiring and just an uncontrollable acceleration. And this is what it is on this particular vehicle. Okay, so right here is your air box on this particular model. Brings the air in to the throttle body, which is a plate that controls the air intake. Now you got a fuel rail here that has two injectors, and the computer controls the pulse or the squirting the fuel down into the cylinders right here behind the intake valves. But here is the intake manifold where the air comes in and goes down and then gets mixed with the fuel right here. It squirts right before it goes down into the intake valve. There is an adapter. There's two rubber adapters on this particular model, but it could be any model in a lot of different vehicles where the manifold adapts to the head. These are cracked. And because they're cracked and they're no longer sealing, there is a huge vacuum leak. And that vacuum leak is what is causing that issue. And on this particular model, we're going to unbolt the plenum, take this air intake boot off, and then we're going to replace those two rubber adapters. Okay, I'm on the other side of the rig now. But here are the two rubber adapters for this 900 XP, and that's the part number on them. And anyway, we got some new ones that are not cracked versus the ones down in here, which you can see they are cracked and leaking air. Big vacuum leak causing all kinds of runnability issues. So that's what we're going after today, and we're going to see if that cures the problem. And if this is happening to you, that's one possibility. All right, so we're going to try to do a show and tell here of how we found out that it was the cracked adapter boots. Basically, while it was running, we sprayed a little brake clean there, and it changed the way the engine was running. So we're going to show that just by starting it and spraying a little brake clean there so you can tell what it sounds like when you have a big vacuum leak. So here we go, fire in the hole. But when you hit it with brake clean, you can almost kill the motor. That's how you know there's a vacuum leak. One of the first things I'm going to do is there is a bolt right here that pinches down on the transmission mount, and that holds this plenum to the transmission right there. That's the first thing I'm going to take out. You got to have a long extension, a little wobbly, and then a wrench on this side. And from the back of the machine, you can go right in here and you can get to it from this side and this side, both kind of by the shock. So we're going to pull this intake boot off. And I'm just going to kind of pull that to the side. I guess you could take it clear out of the way if it'll help. It doesn't take that much more effort, really, just to pull it clear off. You can also kind of check in here to see if it's ever been dusted or anything going on, because if there's any crap or anything or oil or dirt, it'll tell you, because it'll be in this hose, and it'll also be in the throttle body. The next thing I'm going to do is remove this fuel line. So you got to kind of carefully spread this green clip apart and slide it back, and that'll unlock. Now, where I just started that, this actually could have pressure on it. So if you got a cameraman like I do, you may spray him with fuel as you pull that out of there. So you got to be careful. Maybe hold a rag over that would have been a better idea. But and no smoking. We do not want to be smoking when we're doing that. All right, I think we're going to go to removing those two clamps on those adapters, and we'll see how far we can get this back without actually pulling it clear out of there. All right, so we're going to go after these two screw clamps that's holding these adapters to the manifold, and I'm going to try to spray a little bit of penetrating fluid on them because they're sometimes they're sticky and they'll just unscrew easier if you put just a little bit of lubricant on them of some kind, and that'll keep them from sticking and grabbing. It's kind of hard because the screw clamp is actually on the bottom, and I don't know if I'm getting much fluid there, but I'm getting enough. Anyway, I got this really big long extension, and I'm sitting here deciding what size that is. It's either 1/4 inch or 6 millimeter. Actually, it's closest to 1/4 inch. And because that tire is right there, I can't actually reach that one, but I can reach the back one. We're gonna articulate here. And see what I was doing? I can actually. And hey, that went well. And I bet if I come above this right here, exhaust, I can get, actually, yep. All right, we are loose. Now, without taking anything else off, I'm gonna see how much room this will give us to get that back there. And what I'm fighting is probably just the grip. Might even spray a little bit of penetrating fluid between the adapter and the manifold to go down and help release that rubber. This side's pretty much broke loose, but I'm still hanging on by a thread of rubber. Oh yeah. Here. Oh, there we go. We got that to release. Now, how far can we go back? Not very far, huh? We're actually against our wires, but as you can tell, those were not one-piece adapters anymore. They got cracked and flexed, and that's why we were having trouble. Well, I may be able to reach in there and unscrew those adapters and slip them in without taking this manifold off. So I'm going to try that, and then try not to knock anything into the cylinders. Okay, we got those two troublemakers out, and you can see that that's no good anymore, and that the heat of the engine and time kills and destroys that rubber. So we're gonna put some new rubber in there. We're gonna clean up that surface just a little bit, try not to knock any dirt or anything in there, and we're gonna put some new rubber baby head bumper manifold adapters on there and give it a try, see what happens, see if we improve things. I know we will. All right, are we live?
Yes.
At the Maui volcano?
Yes.
Day 47. I'm gonna try to put a little bit of paper towel in the holes, just because I want to clean the surface area where those adapters go, but I don't want to knock anything in there, or at least try not to. And so I'm just gonna stuff some paper towel in there, and then that'll work. And then I'm going to use a little chunk of Scotch-Brite. I don't know if you can see that. It's the red. I like the red. It's about the right grit. And then we're just going to clean and polish that adapter surface. And the adapters, they already have a raised lip, so they'll seal right up to that without any gasket material or anything. But you want a nice, good, clean surface for that adapter to go on. And then the idea is we pull our paper towels out, and we'll pull anything that we might have dropped in there out. But boy, that Scotch-Brite sure does a good job of polishing that surface up and getting us ready for our new parts. And then we could take a little bit of brake clean and just spray around here, and then all right, I'm gonna try not to spray the cameraman. He doesn't like it when I spray him in the eyeballs with brake clean.
No.
There's actually a little raised lip around here that's going to seal that up. So you don't have to use any gasket maker or gasket material. You're just going to put them on dry and clean. But we will lube. We'll put just a little bit of lube on here where the manifold goes into it just to help it go into it. Because that rubber's kind of sticky. And anyway, I'll try to work those dudes in there. And there is an up and down on these too. There is a right way and a wrong way. Basically, there's a little provision here for the injector, and that goes to the top. And the way these are offset, it actually probably won't let you put them on wrong, but that raised part on there, goes to the top for the injector, gives it a little bit extra room. Touch a lubricant on here now is easier. Put a little bit in there and just wipe it around with our finger. And we're going to put our clamp on because it's going to be easier to put it on now. Work it on there. And I put the clamps on like that with the screw at the bottom because it seems like it's easier to go in from this side to tighten or loosen them up. We're going to take our paper towel out first because that would be the right thing to do.
There is that.
Yes. Don't leave your buddies inside. They don't like it. Okay. They helped you, but they will complain if you leave them there. Okay. Now we can slide that one in there. We're just going to let it sit there for a second, and I'm going to find a bolt. I should put just a touch of blue Loctite on those. I'm going to go get some blue Loctite. I think just enough to cover up about 2 or 3 threads. On the end here would be plenty. We just don't want those to back out on you. Otherwise, it's going to do the same symptoms that it had before. Are we live again?
Yes.
All right, we're going to set our torque wrench to 7 foot-pounds. Now that I've finger tightened them up, we're going to torque them. If I pull that manifold back, I think I can get right on there. Oh, I can. Okay, this is going to be way more accurate. Good there. Oh, I feel better about that. All right, our next adapter. All right, so now we're down to where we want to shove the manifold into the adapter, and they're barbed, and they're a little bit hard to get started at first, so I'm going to try to use some leverage to shove this forward, and I think it's working. As long as I don't block the view, you can see it going in there. And you really have to make sure you get those clear down and embedded good. And which I think we're doing, but kind of using the back of this frame with that hammer, it could be a little better leverage, and I think I still need to go more. That one looks good, but this one, not so good, not yet. So, see if I can get this hammer to give me a little better leverage. And if pushing it doesn't work, push and wiggle. Yeah, I felt it. I felt it go in. We are looking good, I think. Yeah, we're all the way down. Now it's just a matter of tightening up our clamps. And I believe the clamps were 17 inch-pounds, is what it said in the book. They are. It was 17 inch-pounds on tightening, on what the tightness is on those screw clamps. So my torque wrench actually doesn't go down as low as 17 inch-pounds, but we're just gonna go by feel, and that's all you can do sometimes. But we're pretty snug there. And I'm gonna go on to the back one. Oh yeah, see, I can tell how much I'm tightening now by using my hand ratchet, I can kind of feel for what's appropriate and what's too tight, you know.
Yeah.
But we've been doing this for years, so we have a really good feel for it. And those are what I would believe to be optimum tension. All right, we need to plug that back in. I disconnected this because I thought I was actually going to remove the bed. And removing the bed, removing this, taking all that off, it would make it nicer to get to that, but that wasn't too bad of a compromise and struggle and save you a bunch of time and not... Because every time you take something off, you run the risk of, you know, losing or putting something back on incorrectly. So sometimes the least amount of stuff you take off, the better. Just hooking our fuel line back up. I'm going to put that bolt in the back. But I think the reward will be it'll run better. Yeah. I don't know the best way to put this on. It's just bend and flex. Hold your mouth just right. Remember, we're rooting for you. All right. In case you didn't know, there's little notches to line everything back up with, so if it doesn't look right, it's probably not right, and if it looks right, it probably is right. All right, let's fire this baby up and see if it does its same stuff or if we improved and learned anything today. All right, ready for firing the hole?
Yeah.
We're going to cycle it to build our fuel pressure up. And the test is rev it up, and when you let off the gas pedal, it'll de itself.